1 over for the event means she is 13, yes, 13 strokes back of our leader. That is Pak Ji-young, currently 4 under through 12 holes and 12 under for the event. Hot on her heels are Lee Da-yeon at 11 under par. 2 10 under that. Here yesterday. A decent run up. Back pin location today, just 14 yards from the back of this 46-yard deep green. Now Chanana, a comfortable 2 under, 120 meters out. Each of the three needing some adjustments to make up for the much.
좀 많은 분들이 직접 제 경기를 보셨으면 저도 좋고 갤러리 분들도 더 재밌지 않았을까 그런 생각을 하거든요.
아무래도 갤러리 분들께서 저희 경기에 대해서 호응해 주시고 기뻐해 주시면 더 기쁜 마음으로 치게 되는 것 같아요.
저희가 경기가 잘 안 풀릴 때 홀을 이동할 때도 이제 갤러리 분들이 이제 화이팅 아니면 뭐 응원의 좀 한마디 해주시면 한 번 더 웃을 수 있고.
스포츠 경기다 보니까 갤러리 분들도 굉장히 익사이팅하고 또 저희도 너무 힘이 많이 됩니다.
일단 안전사고의
KLPGA 대회 많은 관람 와주세요.
Well, a warm welcome from some of the stars of this beloved tour, and a warm welcome back for the spectators as well. And in turn, that means many more volunteers will be needed, and that is not a bad thing. Here is our leader, Pak Ji-young, 110 meters out, also playing from the second cut. Relatively absent wind at the minute. And dropped in well shy, still has to get up on that step, not missing by much. It's practice, it's preparation, it's note-taking, but it is still an incredible skill to be able to read the greens like she can. It is just par. She is 1 over for the day for an opening round 69 yesterday. 9 kilometers an hour. Ji-hyun is 1 over. This is her second at the 11th. Using the middle third and needing to be left today. Side 10 from a nearly identical approach to a nearly identical what should be par. Just a few centimeters shy. To say she's locked in would be quite the understatement. Through 30 holes in her round, just 2 bogeys. And 15 birds. Pretty stuff. Another 64. And yeah, pace those two to replicate 69 and 69 and 64. There's still 5 more to play. Here's Park Young looking to get back to even. Well, she stood up straight and all but gave up hope entirely on that putt while it was still a couple of meters out. She knew the line wasn't quite the KLPGA Championship. The 44th playing of that illustrious tournament. Presented by Chris F&C, of course. Well, no doubt this is a tricky one. Even from our vantage point, you can see the cup basically in a valley between the two slopes. As Oh Ji-hyun looks to get back to even here at 11. Won't need much weight. Well, it didn't need much, but evidently needed just a little bit more than that. She's still 1 under for the day. We'll have to wait to get back to even for at least 1 more hole. And now the attempted par for Park Young. With the conditions we've had throughout the morning and now into the early afternoon, of course, should be picking up some speed. We had the rain yesterday morning that made for very soft, very, very playable greens. And the longer that sun shines, the more difficult putting we'll get. Quick bit of landscaping to pair a divot, and now the runway is clear for par. So-yeon, 2 under. We'll head to the par 5 12th next, is where we find Young. And look at this tidy bit of pin seeking. Always makes you look like a genius when you do that last little wind check. Get a couple blades of grass, go, yep, that's exactly what I thought, and then pull up with an iron shot and stick it as close as she just did. Shanana with driver. She's gonna get a nice kick out of the fairway and out of the rough, excuse me, and back into the fairway. The amount of power and sheer torque she generates with how quickly she rotates herself around the ball is second to none on tour. Kim Ji-young 2 now. Average distance remaining from that position is 5.7 meters. I'd say she's going to smash that by about 5 meters. Lovely approach out of the rough. Lost the handle on the follow through. Pulled that into the rough. Her hands were trying to play catch up and then overcompensated. And a cheeky little fade to the left side of the fairway. Undoubtedly the top drive of the three. Green at the 12th, looking to get to 3 under. We find An Ji-yeon just pushed to the outside, carrying a little bit too much speed up towards the cup. This hole has certainly been a two-putt kind of landscape, 75% of the time it's taken to. Just enough movement on this uphill putt to make it tricky. A little left to right and definitely need to get it up. Perhaps a little bit too much left to right. And that stat is validated once again. Yu So-yeon, it's 98 meters from the rough. It's just enough to get through the fringe. And not moving any closer to that flagstick.
예사롭지가 않았어요. 어쩐지 저 주식을 그만뒀대요. 좀 쉬고 있대요. 좀 오래 안 하고 있고 했더니 3일 쉬었다고 3일 쉬었다고 주식을 안 쉬고 있다고 그러더라고요. 완전 주식 빠르게 나는 핸드폰 스케폰에
After her bounce out of the downsloped rough and back into the fairway, we find Shanana at 100 meters exactly away. Her backspin's going to take her right back onto the border with the fringe. Into the par 3 14th. Back with our leader, it'll be 8 iron. Lands with a massive thud and gets about 4 feet closer to center. It'd be near impossible to have some of the par threes like we see and like we have here at Param down on Jeju with the infamous winds. Nearly bumper balls. Just avoiding contact, but also right back onto the fringe. Kim Ji-young-tu steadily putting together a good round. That would have been her chance to get to 4 under. Lost the line right away. Well, the top 3 there certainly running away with this. And still plenty of golf to be had for Park Ji-young to increase that cushion. Keep an eye on as well Yoo So-yeon. She's 6 back, though she still has 5 holes to play and can easily find herself inside the top 4 at the rate she's going. Well, the first of 3 attempts from the fringe. Chanana will be the first to play. Another nasty split, and then it comes right on back. A long, drawn-out S. The price you pay for being short on this very, very tricky green. Not quite as dramatic a putt, but still a tricky one. And that would be why. Basically need to stand perpendicular to the cup to give yourself a chance there. Even when you're 13 under, you are not immune to how difficult these greens can play. Young is next. It's a better starting spot for this line. It is straightening out, and it just dives to the left at the last moment. Couldn't have struck it any better than that. Here's Oh Ji-hyun, the approach at 12. She got the memo about needing to carry some extra distance here. She'll be quite content with that. Chen Sol, seeing her for the first time, and not in the kindest of conditions from 96 meters out. She falls victim to not carrying it nearly far enough. Now, if we thought the first 2 players were starting quite the ways to the left, we hadn't seen anything yet. Well, none of the 3 had a high probability of converting on those, but we saw 3 really good attempts. Well, absolutely laced off the tee, taking that top spin and bounding into the second cut. From the birdie tries to the first of the par saves, Chanana is up to bat first. So far, we're 1 for 1. Still at 2 under.
사람도 없어. 여기까지 30이.
And the first of the par 3s on this west course. Back to Young. Going with a mid-iron. She's going to get a bounce and a roll back, and the slope is going to take her nice and tight. When you get the gallery to laugh in disbelief, you know you've done something pretty well. Eight iron for the even par J Ream. She's gonna get a great roll too. So young for par. Gave it a good whack. She knew she had her line right. Another hole down, no ground made up. Park Young. She is very, very close to the current cut line. 2 over or worse, and you will be missing out on the fun this weekend. Kime Ream is one of those 55 athletes right now projected to miss the cut. She finished with consecutive rounds of 73. Jian Sol, she's 3 under and still able to maintain her sense of humor as she nearly did the splits to avoid stepping in her groupmate's line. Rolling right through the target zone is our charitable initiative. And there's 2 of them this weekend. Roaring ovation. You could tell even by the sound of it how well that ball was struck. Chanana missed the drive and emboldened by what she just saw, and look how much carry there is on that. At the 10th hole, landing in the target in the fairway from the tee blocks will lead to a donation to the Chan Social Welfare Community Fund, and Ho 12 supporting World Vision this weekend. And a 2-putt par in the same boat as Park Young just stuck on that 1 over mark. Jay Ream for birdie. Little right to left. Ooh. I'll tell you what, there's not many birdies to be found across the course right now. In round 1 and the first half, Park Ji-young's round, that wasn't so much an issue, but it's definitely getting a little bit tighter, the margins. And rolling right off the green, up onto the fringe. Wanted to come back for a moment, but it will get stuck up. And that is not going to be fun. She's definitely going to be pulling a wedge out, barring some kind of miraculous putt through the fringe, up the slope, back down, and kicking to the right. And again, Park Ji-young is unable to close that gap a little bit more. She lips out. It's an opening round 67, and with just 4 holes to play, she is still even on the day. And yes, the LF has these point standings after the opening event of the season. Largely influenced by the classification by the end of last week. Chang Su-yan leading the way on 590 points. Yuhei Ren, P2 at 465. Lee So-mi not far behind, P3. Im Jini, 440. So-yeon Jung on 350. Well, this is trouble. That has gone deep into the rough, and you can just catch it bouncing all the way down and into the marsh. We saw a few heroic attempts. One in particular that required golf shoes coming off and feet firmly in the mud, but no way will Yuhei Ren be able to access that one. So-yeon, beg your pardon. Well, after that scintillating drive, we find Shanana in the exact middle of this fairway. And moved on over to the left, up atop the hill and looking down at the green. Well, this is what you get for prognosticating. I am shocked to see Park Ji-young going for the putter here rather than chipping it down, but clearly she's confident with it, and oh boy. Moving in the opposite direction in the very end, but clearly she believed she'd have more control with putter than a chip down. Well, the water hazard saying hello on a couple of holes at the moment. most notably this one. She is going to go down and look for it, but I could have sworn I saw a pretty noticeable splash at the end. She'll make sure she is absolutely certain she can't play it. Be curious to see if we could get another look at it, but I have a feeling that ball is long gone. The search didn't last very long.
그러면 라인 여기로 잡으면 되나? 네. 여기서 왼쪽, 배 왼쪽이면 여기? 고마워.
Now, of course, trying to figure out from which direction, which line did she actually enter the water, and she'll certainly back up a dozen or so paces to give herself the best chance at getting over those little trees. In the meantime, still some work to be done to save par, and pulled to the inside. It will be a bogey. She needs that 2-footer to ensure that it is just one drop shot as the gap between first and second continues to close. So she takes her 2 club lengths from the area where the line, to be specific, from where she entered the hazard, and doing a quick scout before she'll drop. No such troubles for Chanana. Clean 91-meter look at the pin. She sails beyond the stick, and she's going to roll back and might even be propped up on the fringe. .69 was the score yesterday for Chanana. She is currently 1 over, with lots of her round still remaining. Trying to peer through the trees and see what she is attacking, what part of the green in particular.
Any more than 18.
Well, the 4th shot at this par 5 12th. Lee So-yeon. Well, considering the lie, that's not the worst on, but she definitely got that a little thick. Now Park Ji-young to shore up that bogey. Her 2nd of the round, her 1st since the 4th hole. And that gap is starting to shrink little by little towards the rest of the field, but now into a tie with Lee Dae-yeon. Park Young-gyung's approach. Spin's got to get it to stop. It does just that. That will be a very nice look at bird. 8 iron, certainly the club of choice. This particular par 3.
Hey.
Get a nice bounce and will be about 4 meters up. To 15, Park Ji-young. From the fairway and into some trouble. She avoids that steep drop off into the sand. I like the water cascading over the rocks. We've seen the leader also take a bit of a fall. At least through the opening couple of rounds. We're seeing Cheng Soo-yeon, the points and money leader by virtue of winning the last event, sticking around currently in 5th at 7 under, starting her round at the 10th tee today. 1 stroke higher than she was yesterday, but within 4. And now the par putt. Just to the inside. Seems rather destined for a drop shot here after finding the water. To the 16th. Was a birdie here yesterday, and it is now 2 consecutive rounds with bogeys at the 15th. Park Ji-young. Much deeper the pin today than in round 1, but still to the left side of the green. And dropping shy of the green. Still has a chance that that's playable, but hasn't been able to shake off the bogey blues at the next tee. Here's Chana now for birdie. Sat up on the fringe. She's got to get downhill. It's going to start moving to the left, and it's going to eventually get back right. She'll be encouraged by how well she's playing these very difficult putts looking for birdie, but she'll be disappointed that she's yet to convert on one of them. Well, with how close she is to missing the cut, she's got to start converting in these moments. Give herself a little bit of breathing room. She's pushed it again. Far from a simple putt, but one she knows she can have and certainly knows she should have. All from the verge of calamity to decent follow-up. Now Yu So-yeon, she needs to drain this, otherwise she's heading back to even. Gets the short bogey. Drops back down to 1 under. Park Young-young, in case you missed that stat, tied for 12th with her 1-putt success rate at 33%. Speaking of 1-putts, that is now 5 birdies on the day, just the 1 bogey at 6. And now a distant memory. Her fear of not finding a spot on moving day, and from bad to worse for our co-leader. Well, here's what the field is facing. At the par 4 13th, dogleg right hole, 353 yards, 323 meters from tee to green. Unless you really try and cut it fine, that sand trap to the right should almost never be in play. Although that is the only one of the remaining 6 bunkers on this 13th hole that you could say that about. Very well guarded up the hill and perched about 20 paces off the front edge of the green. 10 from the right, we find the pin today. Easier said than done, but if you're short, especially short right, you will not be having a very fun time. Shannon now taking a load off, getting ready for the fairway to clear. Clouds starting to roll in, but still a rather beautiful day here at Payram. That's about as balanced as you can be on that knife edge with a push drive like that. Shannon not even giving herself a better opportunity to cut this dog leg. Teeing off all the way to the leftmost block. A great drive for her as well, if not 5 meters longer. Dealing with a bit of a sore foot, sore ankle. She'll get the magic spray out. Now Yu So-yeon looking to bounce back. Important par save here at 15 for Park Ju-young. Shouldn't cause her much difficulty at all. And this walk to the next tee will be full of contemplation of how can I get back to my form from yesterday. Meanwhile, if this does not find the bottom of the cup, Idayan will have sole possession of the lead. She certainly gave herself a shot at it, and is a much better attempt from the bunker. So down to 10 under. She will drop. Just 2 under for the day now. To 14. Just enough of a bounce to get over the fringe and onto the green. Jihan Sol's effort is next. 85% greens in regulation. She's going to get that roll back as well. Closer and closer, willed on by the fans, and the tip of the cap. This to prevent falling back into the single digits under par. Oh, just. If you just happened to glance up in the past few minutes, you saw that ball marker, you might have thought she was well underneath the cup. Calm under pressure. Keeps herself in the chase. More troubles off the tee for Yu So-yeon, but that is much better on the approach. Still some work to be done. I think she will be satisfied with what's remaining. That slight uphill look at birdie. Now Park Hyung-kyung. 102 meters out. Right at the cup, and like we mentioned at the last hole, she's been 33% on her conversions for one putts. If there was ever a time to repeat or add to that stat, it would be now. China Nut's also a straight look at the flag. A little more to the outside, but neatly beside Park Hyung-kyung. This group continuing to trade shot for shot on page 2 of the leaderboard, and yes, a much different appearance at the top of the list. Lee Dae-yeon in her second round score of 64, currently pacing the field here in round 2 of the MEDIHEAL HANKOOKILBO Championship from Peiram. We are rolling right along into hour number 2. Our coverage of round 2 just after 4 p.m. local time. Just outside one of the great cities of Icheon. It's 2-putt par. That's a step in the right direction for Yu So-yeon, still at even for the day. And now the chased becomes the chaser once again. Teeing off the penultimate hole. That will settle nicely into the fairway down the left side. He's going to need to add a little extra pop to this approach shot with how far back on the green the flag is located today. China now for birdie at the 13th. Downhill putt. Little left to right, and she's got it. The crowd loves the putt, and the crowd loves the reaction. Back to even for the day, just her second birdie of the round. This was just moments ago. You could hear the reaction to Chanana's birdie in the background. And one-upping, getting an even louder roar. What a putt. Also the second birdie of her round, though she is blemish-free. Long has she been chasing that even par mark. Now Park Young to follow suit. Can we go 3 for 3? Yes, we can. Starting into a party at Peiram. A birdie party. Even with 5 to go now. Let's see what kind of stride she can take to get herself back into contention. This is a tricky one for Chan Sol. Certainly downhill. Should be a little left to right. On top of it, we are 4 for 4, ladies and gentlemen. Hour 2 is off to a flying start. Well, few would like to see a birdie more than Park Ji-young at this moment. Get the stroke back she lost. Remember, she's got to get deep here. Still left herself some work. She's 148 meters out. Doesn't get a whole lot more peaceful than that. Always treated to some stunning scenery. Something that the course designers and the sport in Korea in general have really, really highlighted. Trying to use the natural 5 points. So that's a pretty good spot to be perched up on. Looking over the shoulders and down at the green here at number 14. Well, can she go on a birdie run? Park Young avoids the rough, but only just. Not the most complicated of lies, though certainly not nearly as close as she would have hoped to be. Is next, also taking 7-iron out of the bag. Her distance was spot on. Off to the left, she's going to get a little assistance here on her way back down. We got one fist pump with her birdie at the last. I think this might be a double if she's able to cash in on this. Also 7-iron for the final member of this group to tee off. Instant feedback is promising. She's got the best lie of the bunch. About 12 meters separating Park Ji-young and a birdie. Downhill and some serious movement back to our left. Look at this, she's gonna get it to go. Well, after consecutive bogeys for the first time all tournament, she snaps that streak with a vengeance. When she tees off at 18, she will be back a share of the spoils. 216. The most eye-catching of all the holes here at Payram, and I'd say being short is a little bit of an understatement, unfortunately. With that first effort, there is a tailwind, but honestly not that consequential. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing this on a loop, and that is a-okay with me. As we take you back to the ace yesterday, Kim Chae-hee. That is not an easy pin placement either on the left. Takes a lot of your potential landing zone away. What a shot it was. Here's Kim Ji-young 2. A rather unique vantage point. She has flown off the back. To be precise, flag today 15 yards off the front and 13 from the left. 50% more in either direction from yesterday. Anjian with a ill-timed cheer from the foul in the background. That is a party foul, but it luckily did not impact the results of that swing. That is a very nice approach. She should be feeling pretty confident that birdie is within the realm. Park Young will be first to putt on 14. From the fringe, down the hill, and then boogieing to the left. Had her line, just a little bit too much speed, takes her right over top of the cup. Teeing off for the final time today. Can she snatch the lead right back? Her 36th hole of this event, the inaugural playing of this tournament. She should be motivated by the fact she had a birdie here at 18 yesterday. And back to 14. Chanana for birdie. Gotta ride this slope carefully, precisely. She had her line figured out, just slightly off the pace. Three under and 8 back with 4 to play. And a very similar looking putt for Yu So-yeon. Carrying a bit more speed from the release. And in exchange, she sacrificed the line that Chanana had. We are 0 for 3. And a trio of short tap-in pars to be had next. And now the trap that caused a fair amount of grief. Park Ji-young, luckily not nearly as close to that front lip, gives her a cleaner out, setting up a look at par. Speaking of, the first of the 3 par putts on 14. Walks it in. Yu So-yeon following suit. Neither giving back the ground they made up at the last. There's Jay Ream on 17. She's 157 meters out on the right side of the fairway. Well, that's much better carry towards the back of the green where you need to be. That was nearly an eagle territory as well. And Kim Ji-young too. A little flop from the rough and getting it started well. And here is our aerial tour of the 15th, and when the drone has to keep snapping to the right like that, you know you are in for quite the dogleg to the right. Then a very gradual movement back left and up the hill. Widens out at the pinch point where we can anticipate the tee shots to land. And then 13 yards from the back and 10 yards from the right is the target today. Two birdies on the round thus far through 14. Again, Young had 5 of them yesterday. She also had a double bogey at 6 and 3 other bogeys after the turn. Cost her some serious positioning. And looking to make it consecutive circles on the scorecard. It is on Jian. Does it have enough speed? It did have speed. It sat perfectly 2 yards beyond the cup. And now Chanana's turn to tee off at 15.
자.
It's almost just a bit of muscle memory now for Chanana. Rips it with the driver. Everyone around says good shot, and she's grown accustomed to saying thank you for that as well. Her driver can be her favorite club. And Yu So-yeon with her practice half swing and then launched. Skipping into the rough to the right of the fairway as our featured group is away. Now we get to save par at 16. Uh-oh, 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 as she will be giving that shot right back. Going well beyond just the 1.5 meters she needed. Kimse Romi, she's 2 under. This is her 3rd at the 9th, 51 meters out. Zipped right on back. It's a very, very tricky shot to execute. punched up and nice and close. Staring down a birdie with her next. And on 16, Kim Ji-young 2, the par save. She was 72 through 18 holes and still remains 3 under for the day, which of course her tournament score as well. From the rough at 18, Park Ji-young. That's her confident strut. She must like it. That would be why. Well, off to 17 and giving back one of the 4 strokes she had made up today. Returns to 1 under par. The first of 2 inaugural events in 2022. Our calendar boosted to 33 this season. We will also see the debut of the KH Group IHQ Women's Open in October. A hefty purse to go along with the first ever presentation of the trophy here at the MEDIHEAL HANKOOKILBO Championship. When it rains, it pours. Bad luck coming in droves. J. Ream, bogey that takes her back down to even par. Now, trying to set up a worldie of a finish, only 97 meters out at 18. It's a worldie of a finish with a worldie of an approach, just like that. About 5 feet away from a par at the last. Kim Se-romi, similar yardage in her birdie quest. Getting a little bit ahead of herself. Pushed it over top of the cup, and it's a big opportunity that has just gone by the wayside. Nearly an eagle at 18. Lovely bit of golf from Chung Yun-ji. Now, Park Young, she has found the sand off the left of the fairway at the 15th. That is sailing all the way across the width of this green and just before the rough. A little bit perplexed as to how she has arrived at that particular situation. Yu So-yeon, 156 meters out with her second, 26 meters at the apex of that ball flight. She too has gone long. She is going to roll back, and does it want to keep on coming? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Tidy inside of 2 meters after looking like she was well and clear. Speaking of approach shots, it's 151 meters for China now. There will be no coming back from this one. Even more troubling is how she is going to approach this ball. She's either going to have her feet in the sand or she is going to be in quite the uncomfortable posture to stay out of it. Our coverage of round 2 from Payram will continue right after this. Well, back to it at 15, and Shanana, yes, feet in the sand and not in a comfortable, leisurely day at the beach fashion. That is a tricky stance, and she got the most out of it as she could. Here's Imjini putting for birdie at 18. Significantly on the fringe, and it doesn't make any difference to her. What a way to end her round. 3 birdies in her final 4 holes to get to 4 under heading into moving day. A little bit of a kinder lie for Park Hyung-kyung, just hanging on to the edge of the green, but needing to basically putt off of it to get it started. It's going to be right, and it's going to pick up a bit of speed. Made the most of the hand she was dealt, that's for sure. Currently 63 players are clear of the cut line. That's 2 over par. Trying to finish off the round. Back in the birdie column and back in sole possession of the lead. Yes. 12 under through 2 rounds. It is the mark to beat. A little bit of everything on that scorecard. 4 birdies in her final 5 holes on the East Course, and nullifying her back-to-backs at 15 and 16. Now this to save par for Janana. Starting back on track. Glances the lip and stays out. Selfishly, one of my favorite reasons to have the patrons back is it lets the entertainers entertain. She plays to the crowd. Down to 2 under for Janana, which is now 10 back of the lead. And this is required to participate this weekend. And you can tell she knew what she had to do. Chung Yoon-ji will be joining us after all. So now 64 players for the time being. Little uphill birdie putt for Yoo So-yeon. And 2 under. Her 3rd of the round. Her first since the 9th. And an exhale. Probably needing to start this at least a foot, if not a foot and a half, to the right of the cut for Park Hyung-kyung. She is sat perilously on the slope. Coming at it a bit more flat than perhaps we had thought, and she steps out just as the wind picks up. She knows how important of a putt this is. Bogey takes her right back into the danger zone. Nervy for a moment. Stays at even. And now brought to you by our friends at Bridgestone Golf. Our aerial look at the absolutely breathtaking par 3 16th. We've seen it from just about every vantage point, and quite honestly, as daunting as that sand trap can be, it can also keep you alive if you are short everything. Long is off the back. You can use the mid portion as a pseudo bumper to get you back. It's a test of skill and aggression. And if the rain stays away, this could be very, very interesting come Sunday, when mistakes here will be exponentially more costly. Yu So-yeon first to tee off after her birdie. Well, parking the hole-in-one is the threshold. That is about as good as you can play it. It's 18 meters is the drop. From the tee blocks and directly over top the flag. Interesting club selection. Park Hyun-kyung going with the 6-iron. She'll stay up on the fringe and move no closer. Par here in round one, and with the exception of the third, so her first par 3 of the event, she has been all pars. 7-iron's the club of choice, and throttles that iron into the deck. She's not happy with it, and despite taking a full club off, she is further out. Park Hyun-kyung. Let's check in. Park Ju-young. She is 4 under, playing her final hole of this second round, narrowly inside of 100 meters. Stopping nearly on a dime. Be a chance to move to within 7 of the lead. Wang Jung-min, well, we will not be seeing her this weekend. It's been a frustrating couple of days. She's going out with a flash. And while we wait for a featured group to climb on down to the green, let's get our first proper look at the 17th. 358 meter par 4. Oh Ji-hyun. As straight as a bow and arrow on a windless day. She'll be happy with that. from the fringe. You're putting uphill to start. And then cascading your way back down towards the cup. Well, the stakes are significantly higher for Park Young, though Chanana is looking to put a little run together here in her final 3 holes. She will be first to play. My apologies for the momentary technical difficulties. We are back, and we are taking a look at the 17th hole, the second to last, the final of the par 4s here on the West Course. It's 358 meters, another dogleg to the right, the bunker in the exact middle of this fairway, with sand to the left, sand to the right, and sand at the back as well. Pin location today, we are 30 yards deep on this green. That's only 9 from the back, 9 from the left as well. Well, the 17th has not been kind. Only 12 birdies thus far. 51 pars, and the rest have been, well, the kind of holes we rather not talk about when we play. It's certainly a gauntlet, the final 3 holes, shaping up to be an absolutely enthralling race to the finish this weekend. The lead at 12 under seems safe right now. Well, in most cases it is. However, if that gap is able to be narrowed, I'm looking up and down the likes of Choyan on the leaderboard. Also have last week's champion very much in the hunt as well. It could make for an absolutely thrilling final round on Sunday. Nicely into the fairway. Good start to the 17th hole. Young will be next to play. We'll be feeling still pretty tense. One birdie should be enough to secure her spot on Sunday, but let's just talk. Needs to get her shots. She certainly had her opportunities. We will see how they fare with 17 in a moment. Here's Oh Ji-hyun. Takes 2 putts. She's still 3 under for the day, heading to the last tee block at 18. Well, after a trio of pars on the final par 3. Chanana is doing what she does best. Soaking in the atmosphere. It's been a long time in the making. The return to the patrons. Not just on this tour, but any tour worldwide. Ladies or gentlemen, it certainly makes the event all the more special. 97 meters for Iga Young. And look at this, saving one of her best approach shots for last. couple of feet out from a birdie. Using just about all available real estate to the right side of this fairway. It's 81 meters. Gap wedge in hand, trying to attack the front port of this green, and she's done it too. Two exquisite bits of wedge play. Two birdies very much on the table. And Kim Ji-young at 3 under par. Only 74 meters to go. Oh my word. Look at this grouping. Unbelievable approaches at 18. Hats off to those three. A ton of loft with this approach shot for Park Young, and well beyond where she needed to be, but safely on. So-yeon is next. 149. Ooh, and this is slicing away into trouble, into the rough. Again, she just swung herself out of her own grip. Jana now with the least to do, 129 meters. And nearly back at the beach, but just clear. Well, a refresher of where things stand. Well, just a couple of holes to play. A round of 64 matching Park Ji-young's effort yesterday from Lee Dae-yeon. Today, she is one back. And I'm sure we'll see a little bit of Lee Chae-yeon too in our round highlights in just a few minutes' time. It's 5 p.m. local time from Peiram, the final few holes of our round 2 coverage of the MEDIHEAL HANKOOKILBO Championship, the inaugural playing. We'll be back after this. We return to the action at the 17th green, or just off of it in Soyeon's case. Looking good to accomplish this up and down. Nice chip, nice and in close. Well, the first of three looks at birdie on 18. And it's a lovely finish. Ranjian. Even par round one, 2 under on the day. Starting to string together a nice run of form. Canada also at 2 under. This is a very long birdie putt from the fringe. Pretty good weight. Leaves herself with a short look at par. Kim Ji-young 2. This would get her to 4 under. And just missing to the outside. Went for a quick trip around the edge and unfortunately for her would go no further. Well, it was a consistent back nine with pars nearly across the board. It's gone a bit in the opposite direction on the back nine. Kim Ji-hyun looking to straighten things out a little bit. She begins her final 3 holes. It was dangerously close to both the rough and the hazard, but she gets a nice bounce out of trouble. Now Park Hyun-young starting this about 3, almost 3.5 meters to the outside right of the cup. Needs to get moving. Needs to get moving. Drama at the finish. And oh, so close to a birdie here at 17. Down in a tie for 42nd. Some pretty formidable company like Bang Min-ji, who was able to string together a round of 71 today. That's a nice finish. Erasing her over par round on Thursday with a very solid round of 69 today. This will be the par save. Yuso-yeon, and uh-oh. Even further out from where she had started that putt. She doubles, she's back down to even. And in a little bit of trouble heading to 18. Jan-sol, 80 meters. Great contact and a result to match by all the remnants of the divots around the pin. You can tell how pinpoint accurate the field has been today. Needs to keep this at bogey. Oh my word. 2 nearly identical misses. She's not even going to recalibrate. She just needs to see that thing get in the hole. One of the worst times she could have found a double. She's back down to even. Remember, bogey would be enough to stay. Double, and she won't make the cut. Nice finish to the par 3. A birdie to move to 3 under for Kim Ji-hyun.
저분이 이쪽 언저리 해가지고 저희가 클럽을 해놨습니다.
Well, speaking of trouble,
해저드 들어보니까 여기다 붙여.
well, this is how we found ourselves in this particular predicament. Gone right, and then gone into the water to the left of the cart path.
잠길 수도 있긴 있을 것 같은데 근데 잔디가 없어가지고 약 움푹 잠긴 게 아니라 움푹 들어가 있는 부분에 들어갈 수가 있는 거지.
그치, 내가 그 말이
I think the smile on the ball marker might be the only smile coming from
저쪽
this duo at the
난
moment.
저기는 절대 안 해. 도로에서 칠까 여기서 칠까.
잔디가 난 좀 더 낫다고 생각해.
안 넘어가죠?
응.
일로 오는 게 나을 것 같아.
최대한 이거 그쪽으로.
됐어?
Uh-oh.
그렇게 해가지고 또 한 번 더 그 부분에다가
That's how hard
잡을게요.
that cut of rough is playing.
이
깃발.
So a brief pause in the proceedings
95 엣지.
as we work to get this sorted.
그리고
So this the 4th shot after the penalty. How can she recover from here? I'd say pretty well. Now she is in pivotal par territory. Park Young-kyung. We see her teeing off at 18. Much to the delight of the patrons. She's just gonna stay inside the fairway on the right side. 16. 2 under round in progress. Kim Yan. Gets a healthy jump. It's about 6.5 feet out. Chanana is next. Averaging 223 meters off the tee. Will end up in the rough, but avoids the sand. Wouldn't go as far as to say inconsequential, but she'll be able to rip that out, no problem. This is going to be a pressure-packed half-kilometer for Yu So-yeon. 518 meters, it is the longest hole on course. She gets a good bounce. Down the fairway, eats up some yardage. The bird's eye view above the 18th green. We'll Typically when we're following other members in the group and not someone with the stature of Lee Jung-min, that means things aren't going well, as is very clearly evident by the score of 8 over. And it appears to be 8 over as the final score through 36 holes. Her memories of this inaugural tournament won't be quite as fond as some. Consecutive rounds of 76. And we bid Lee Jung-min adieu. Well, unsurprisingly, from this lie, she's reached for the hybrid. Little low line drive. And again, just off to the right. Park Young is next. She was able to only just stay inside the fairway. This is her second. 267 meters remained until that sweet stroke. Should leave her with only 75 or 80 meters still to gain. Despite having some eyes for that rough, she gets a fortuitous bounce and will be just fine, a-okay with that end result. Oh Ji-hyun needs this to save her par after finding the water with her second shot. She's gone right on by. That's how slim the margins are from feeling incredibly confident teeing off at 18 to a couple shots gone awry, and suddenly these short putts feel like they're a kilometer long. Again, catching the lip, but not enough to drain. Now Chansol for birdie, and don't look now, but this would move her to 5 under. What a day. Chansol. Only one blemish, a bogey at the third. Trio of birdies, excuse me, as well. She is comfortably inside the top 10. There'll be way too much drama if she misses, which she has. My word, she didn't even nick the lip. If she misses this, her tournament's over. She's treading water, but she is there. Only just, but a double, a 7 at 18. Made things a little bit dicey for Oh Ji-hyun. Final 15 minutes of her round. Here's the approach for Yoo So-yeon. She is just into that second cut. 95 meters out. Gets her loft. Carries a little bit too far. Drifting deeper towards the middle. That will be quite difficult to make up for birdie. Though certainly not out of the realm of possibility. China now also from the rough, but this, the third cut, might as well have been from the fairway with a shot like that. Putting on a bit of a show in the final few minutes. Young. Oh, she too is dialed in. Couldn't have placed it a whole lot better than that. Excited to see the crowd continue to grow in number as we get closer and closer to Championship Sunday. Should be an absolute festival atmosphere. We're going to head to the 9th now, seeing Eun Jung-mi for the first time. She's going to get a fortuitous roll back down from the front lip. Is she going to hold this? Nearly does. This on 16. Opportunity to get back to even for Yoo So-yeon. Very nicely done indeed. Back-to-back birdies now. Recovering to the safety zone. Absolutely gorgeous Friday evening, nestled inside the mountains. We'll be back to wrap up round number 2 from Payram in just a few moments.
Okay, shot. Wow.
Well, still a fair amount of work to be done. Not the case here. The shortest of birdie looks, it is nearly a tap in. And Han Jung-mi gets it there. Wrapping up the round on the 9th and wrapping it up with a nice circle on the scorecard. Yoo So-yeon for birdie at 18. It's going to take a gargantuan putt. Certainly left it all out there. Through 36 with a par and even par, out with a 35 and in with a 38 today. 1 over for the tournament after a bit of a blow up at 17. Speaking of 17, nice little flop shot right up and knocking on the door. Now Chanana. For birdie to take her to 3 under heading into the weekend. Well, that was an absolute rocket off the face of her putter. Far too much pace on that. And more from 17. Baek Jun. Nice birdie off the flag. There's a lot going on in that front 9. Starting to normalize a little bit. Consistently putting in strong outing after strong outing. Park Yeon-kyung, she can finish the round at 1 under. Well, that will feel good. 3 birdies, 1 bogey, and 14 pars on the afternoon. We will see her tomorrow. Oh, the birdies are dropping left and right. Nicely done from Mata Som. Just her second of the day. She is 4 under inside of the top 10. And now a par save. Recovered from a little bit too much power. She looked for just her 3rd birdie of the day. It was 1 over for the round with a 73. She was out with a 37, in with a 36. And speaking of par saves, that is what is facing Kim Ji-hyun.
Nice ball.
Little uphill, right to left her. She's 4 under today. From the brink of missing the cut to nearing the top 10. Well, this is how things shake up. Just a few groups left on course. A 64 for MEDIHEAL has her one back. Park Ji-young, who made things a little bit interesting. 4 under is still an incredible score just relative to what we saw from her in round 1. It's a little bit colder. Yuhei Ran was 2 under today. She is 5 under and leads the names top page 2 of the leaderboard. Just a handful of groups remain out on course. Here is Park Ji-young finishing up her round on the 9th. Jammed that into the slope and trickles down nicely. "87 meters out." We've seen a few players who were well and clear out of the hunt and destined to Missed the cut, come up with a few great shots at 18. Can add another to the list from Pak So-hei. Hodabin must par this hole, otherwise her tournament is over. Giving herself a really good opportunity. Chance to 2-putt and stay clear. Now Pak Bo-mi, a winner for the first time last season. The early portion of the calendar, 51 meters out. Wanted to pull that string a little bit taut. Not quite the backspin she had been hoping for, but has her shot. Well, halfway through the tournament, she's in a tie for 16th. 1 under on the West course and really put some good holes together on the East course. How much of a role she will play tomorrow, that is still TBD, but the big thing is she'll be there. Also occupying the 5th spot on the LF Hazi's points table after the opening round. At least a share of it. Well, another player to keep an eye on. Also playing the East course on the way in. That would, of course, be EA1. A little bit unfortunate with how that hopped away from the hole at the end, but still in, nice and tight. Well, she's got 2 shots to play with. Make it a whole heck of a lot easier and look a lot better if she can get her birdie. Great putt to get back to even. Her final swing of the day. It's an even par day. It was even all around. 72 in round 1 and a 72 today. She's punched her ticket for the weekend. Now from way off the back. Kim Yi-en closer and closer and will finally come to rest a mere 20 centimeters away from the cup. Two under for the day, 2 under for the event. Heading to the 18th tee. Now Pak Bo-mi. Nothing more than a nice consolation prize. And unfortunately, she won't even be able to take a birdie at the last home with her. And now for birdie. EA1 at the 9th. Drilled it. It's lovely. That scorecard, especially on what is typically the front 9, is exceptional. 4 birdies, including 3 in a row at one point. Pushed it. She'll have to settle for par at the last. So Hyun, 79 was her undoing yesterday, though to be fair, the 74 today, even if she was even, wouldn't have gotten her over the finish line. Well, to finish with par. And 147 strokes between the two rounds. Well, she'll bow out with an even par round. 3 over as the dust settles. Back to 17, Meta Somme, 143 meters. Right side of the fairway. Well, she went pin staking. Unfortunately, the green playing a little bit like a trampoline, especially when there's no backspin. June, the lovely little curler back in towards the cup. If we were going to end on any shot, why not that one? Nice little bit of skill late in the day, just 20 minutes to 6 in the afternoon as we have one last look at the leaderboard. And we'll be back on the other side of a quick break. Also get you your round 2 highlights here on SBS Golf. Stay with us. Well, for the final time today, we say welcome back to Payram. An opportunity to move up to 4 under. The share of a top 10 spot for now, but this is quite the lengthy birdie putt facing. That 4 under mark, it's just going to bail out to the right at the very end. Great effort from a decent distance away, so she'll tap in. It is 3 under. Remarkable front 9. Out with a 32. She came in with a 36. Mostly flat, little left to right. This would get her to 3 under. Ooh, but just pushed to the inside. Back to 18 in a moment. In the meantime, it is 17. Matassom. This to get to 5 under par, but it never wanted to get left until the very end. Even if it kept on going, it would have breezed by a yard or two. Okay, June. Short par. Off the stick and down. Out with a 35. Blew up a little bit at the 5th, taking off some of the ground she could have made up, but formidable finish. As promised, and that is tradition. Our round highlights from round 2 begin with Idayan. As if she had a string that she just yanked at the last second to get it to drop. Back-to-back birdies at that point, her 6th of the day. Through 13 holes, that's a pretty good average. Nearly every other hole you're picking up a stroke. And she wasn't done there. This was at the 6th. Another uphill putt. Started moving left and straightened out just in the nick of time. I'd say that warrants a smile for sure. That got her to 10 under. Also at 6, and in a much different position. This is from the extreme right of the fairway. Back to Young, and it's rolling on in, just a few centimeters shy of an eagle. To 7. An awkward stance as she was really on top of this ball, and uh-oh is right. That is the reaction of someone who's unsure of where they're headed. But it all works out for the best in the end. Nice roll up and pleasantly surprised with that birdie. And then at the par 5 9th, Idayan, her final shot of the day. She had one more gift for us in store. Look at that movement with a little flare at the end. Not a single bogey on the card. Out with the 32, in with the 32, 8 under. Remarkable stuff. Ichaean too. She had played 18 really well yesterday. Took a few notes and remembered how to execute. Just the slightest of nudges to get it started. And another birdie at the 18th. In with a 32. To go along with a 1 under front 9. Take her to 10 under par heading into the weekend. Well, things, they were looking really, really good. Baek Ji-young, another birdie that took her to 12 under. She'd get back there, though there were some adventures along the way. And this was the biggest one. Dug into the slope. Not only did she not get out of the sand, she sent herself back and then just follows it up with a recovery like that. So that is the aforementioned slip up. Just stalling in the sand. But then at 17, she goes, okay, well, I'm not satisfied at 10 under, so why don't I pull this out of my bag of tricks? Millimeter by millimeter, slowly but surely into the cup. So she erases the mistake at 15. And this was just about 45 minutes ago now. Almost a silly approach. Had no business curling back the way it did. And then had the line to perfection. Started at left, it drifted in. And yeah, you might as well just wipe out those bogeys at 15 and 16, as she would go on to restore her one-shot cushion with a round of 68 today. That is a very exciting current podium. At the midway mark of this competition, Cho Ayan with a 5 under round of 67 as well. Ijumi, Chihan Sol amongst those sandwiched in a tie for 6th. Unremarkable rounds in a lot of ways, but steady. It's going to take quite the comeback to make up that 7-point swing. Same boat for Yuhei Rand with a 2 under 70 today. EA1 4 under round of 68, and Matasom still on course, could pick up a birdie with their final hole before we head into moving day tomorrow. Continue to cascade our way through. And we saw quite a bit of her today. China now, of course, 1 over. It's the highest score for everyone in this log jam. Pak Young, it was up and down for a lot of it, but had a 2 under round of 70 to safely make the cut. And then things got a little bit hectic in that tie for 42nd. Kim Arumi amongst them. Kim Ji-young too is there as well. Iggy Pum at a 75 today. Bit of an undoing, but into safety. Kim So-yi just safe, and we see Kim A-reem after the exceptional work she put in last week, only for it to come unglued at the weekend. Won't even get a chance to mount a comeback as she misses the cut by 1 stroke. What that's to say is, well, it's going to be a very exciting weekend. We cannot wait to see who will be taking home the inaugural championship here. It's been incredible showing, and of course we have to thank you, our viewers, for joining us for this journey, and also to our exceptional crew at SBS Golf for making this available. My name is Adam Jenkins. Thanks again for spending some time with us today on this gorgeous, sunny Friday afternoon at Peiram. This has been the second round of the MEDIHEAL HANKOOKILBO Championship. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow for moving day. Until then, so long for now.
오케이. 자, 그대로. 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 대박이다. 내려. 그대로. 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 와, 대박이다.
손을 먼저 다 공통 한번 다 맞춰볼게요. 자, 우선 차렷 한번 먼저 하고, 자, 하나, 둘, 셋. 자, 다시 끝. 조금씩. 끝. 하나, 끝. 좋아요. 자, 손 한번 예쁘게 가운데 한번 모아볼까요?
잠시만요. 저 협회에서 마스크 착용하는 사람들로 좀 촬영하는 걸로 요청이 있다 그래서 죄송합니다. 협회에서 착용하고.
자, 이쪽 세 분 45도 이쪽으로 몸 살짝 풀어보세요. 그렇습니다. 그렇죠. 조금만 그렇게. 오케이, 좋아요. 허리 쭉 펴실 거예요. 허리 쭉. 자, 촬영합니다.
너무 빨리 하지 마시고요. 저희 계속 찍어야 되니까.
네, 알겠습니다. 기다려주세요. 네. 한번 좋아요. 자, 하나, 둘, 셋. 한 번 더. 하나, 둘.
가운데에서 손을
다시 세 분 이쪽
네.
볼 거고요.
45도
파이팅 한번 할게요. 그리고 하나, 둘, 셋. 하나, 둘, 셋. 한 번 더.
하나, 둘, 셋 하면 파이팅 하시면 돼요. 하나, 하나, 둘, 셋. 자, 이렇게 갈 거예요. 자,
끄는 건 어디 가요? 저기.
돌아 펴보세요. 펴보세요. 자, 준비. 하나, 둘, 셋. 자, 다음 거.
자, 우리 트로피 빼고 이제 찍어보겠습니다. 하시면 될 것 같아요. 자, 찍어볼게요. 하나, 한 번 더. 하나, 둘, 셋. 하나, 둘. 그 상태에서 팔입니다. 자, 촬영합니다. 하나, 둘. 하나, 둘.
촬영 보실까?
네네.
자, 우리 동영상 찍
하나, 둘. 하나, 둘.
촬영 보실까?
네네.
자, 우리 동영상 찍을게요. 여기 눈.
자, 연출 하나만 더 해보겠습니다. 해야지 예뻐요. 네, 발바닥 붙여야지 좋습니다. 잠깐.
보는 그림이다.
하나, 네, 조금 더. 좀 더 붙어주세요. 같이 죄송한데 왼쪽으로 반부만 한번 이동해 볼게요. 그렇죠, 수도. 자, 좋습니다. 여기 볼게요. 촬영합니다. 하나, 둘. 하나, 둘, 셋. 다시 하나, 둘. 한 번 더. 하나, 둘. 잘하죠.
자, 여기 봐주시고요. 저희 동영상 들어갈